What I want to see in PoE 2 for 0.5. So 0.5. Holy, I'm getting ahead of myself by 4 months. 0.4. Let's see what the man has to say.
Hey, what's up guys? Kadachi here and welcome back to the channel. It's been a few weeks since my last video. I spent a bit on PoE 1 and I honestly fell in love with Arc Raiders. I was enjoying the new season, but I play on console, so with the dwindling player base, that combined with them ruining a lot of the juice to farm in the endgame, and being forced into mechanics I've never personally enjoyed doing, my time spent on the game was cut very short. But I made it to maps, did a lot of my pinnacles, and I enjoyed the new kinetic fusillade that was added to the game. They did an excellent job on that skill, basically taking everything you need to make it work in PoE 2 and just giving it to it on base in PoE 1.
Why do I feel like everyone has a temporalis except for me? Also, he's right. They did take fuselage from PoE 2 and added it in PoE 1, which is kind of cool to see, like, skills transferring backwards. Like, they keep adding stuff from PoE 1 into PoE 2, but it's kind of cool to see, like, PoE 2 is actually adding some stuff to PoE 1 as well. Like, asynchronous trade's the obvious example, I guess.
Hopefully we can see some changes to Ember Fusillade in the future. But now, with the next PoE 2 season being right around the corner, the hype is building up.
What is this build?
Druid is confirmed, so I figured I would put out a video on what I would want to see in 0.4. The gameplay in the background is my Temporalis Ember Fusillade build, which I did make a video on. This is my.
So he's doing Chaos Conversion, Ember Fuselage with a Temporalis.
Updated and final version of the build, so I will leave a link to that in the description.
Looks pretty good.
In case anybody wants to play this as their last few builds of the season or whatever. Now, let's get into
it. Looks like everyone is playing Bloodletting though. Like that Bloodletting gym.
The video.
Pretty much what this looks like too.
The things I'm going to be going over, I didn't really put in any specific order, so we'll just be talking over these the way I have them written down. So let's begin. For starters, the first thing I would like to see in 0.4 is absolutely no nerfs. To anything important, that is.
Absolutely no nerfs. There's one thing you're not getting, dude. Toto Cup, yeah. All right. Hey, one man can dream, dude. He's on Santa's lap, and he just asked Santa for a brand new fucking jet. Good luck. Good luck with that.
As I said in my video before about my 5,000 hours review, things like tech rods and bloodletting, definitely most people can agree those things have to be looked at. Other than that, I believe the entire sandbox is pretty fine, and we just need to buff things that are outliers. And to say that
I would put a bet that Roa gets Roa, Deadeye, Lightning Arrow, Lightning Rod is getting the Quadra Tap Orbital Bombardment Ion Cannon like a GDI is immediately going to destroy. I bet you Roa gets gutted. I bet Lightning Rod gets gutted. I bet Deadeye Ascendancy gets like a decent percentage nerf. Those ones are getting Orbital Cannon. Bloodletting's probably getting nerfed, let's be honest. Somewhere in there's going to be a Shield Wall Warrior nerf. There's going to be a lot. I bet you there's going to be a lot of nerfs. If I just had to guess.
The entire sandbox is fine is definitely a stretch. Simply because a lot of builds that can reach the end game, once you reach the hurdle of doing Super Juice, say we do get to keep Abyss maps next season.
Wait, holy lag, dude. This is looking like a Blight run from PoE 1.
There are a lot of builds that separate from others and fall off in the end, and only a few can perform very well in this state of the game. There's always many reasons as to why that could be the case, whether it be this ascendancy is better than the other, better scaling options, this skill functions better than this.
The man himself is in here, says this is the console experience in juice. I'm so sorry. This is a great time to plug Starforge PCs, the best PCs in the universe. Hashtag ad.
I don't think every skill should be able to function the same on the level of power. Some should be used in early game, some work better in end game, but I do want to see a lot of these higher level in game skills working.
That
brings us into our next topic of all niche skills needing to be buffed. There's quite a few amount of skills that have just very low usage rates or no usage at all because they're just absolutely unusable. They can't scale very well, and I'm not really going to go over any of them because I'm sure GGG themselves have these numbers and they know this. I just simply want to see these skills buffed so that we can use them. They will add way more build variety to the game.
Yeah, there's just some that just feel terrible. Like, I mean, I'm aware that no matter what skill I can name, somebody out there is going to be like, but I saw a video in which a guy does a billion damage with a guy with no matter what. But just out of the top of my head, playing Acidus Flask didn't feel very good. That is one example. Like, there's just some of these skills where you play them and they just don't, they don't feel very great, for sure. So, like, I mean, I would say that there's going to be balance changes. I mean, I definitely think that there's going to be some nerfs because I doubt they're currently happy with the Roa situation, though. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they love it. Who knows? They've been kind of quiet on that front. I would like to see some buffs as well. I'd say balance changes are just like, they're going to always be some balance changes. We had balance changes 0.3. We had balance changes 0.2. We had balance changes 0. There's always going to be balance changes. It's going to happen again. I think this is like obvious. So like there's going to be some nerfs, some buffs. Hopefully there's, a bigger variety of builds. 0.3 was way better than 0.2. 0.2 basically had no variety of builds. It was lightning spear or nothing.
Another thing that can be looked at is more stacking options. Charge stacking has been used quite a bit. Frenzy charge, power charge. We still need more endurance charge support, I'd say. I haven't seen very much of that. Maybe a bit with the Nebulock. But
yeah,
more than just that, accuracy stacking has also come into the play, but I would love to see mana stacking back. Proper life stacking.
Amen about mana stacking.
Give us more life scaling, please. Proper life stack.
In terms of life as a defensive power, yeah, I agree. Armor definitely feels better. But isn't life offensively kind of ridiculous right now? I mean, he's playing Bloodletting right now, right?
Stacking, int stacking, strength stacking, armor stacking. I would love to see all these in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they could add way more build variety also. There's so much that can be added to the game to add more variety, but I think that we should focus a bit more on the core of the game itself to better help these skills. A few of them need reworks, a few of them need better wording, better abilities, better scalers, whatever it may be.
Balance. So he wants a lot of balance changes.
And hopefully GGG can work this out in the coming future of the game. Next on the list, I would love to see a complete Chula rework once again. We just got one.
Okay, that caught me off guard. Balance changes he'll for sure get. If he's asking for no nerfs, I think there's no shot he's getting. But he will get some balance changes. I mean, they do that in literally every patch, so that's a pretty safe bet. Acolyte of Chula nerf or rework, man, I don't know. I feel like they keep trying with this class. The Darkness Reservation actually feels kind of good. I did a hardcore Chalupa run this league, and Darkness actually feels kind of good. I don't know if they're going to remove it or not, but they reintroduced the thing where in Sanctum or Trial of Suck My Ass, that when you are taking damage from Darkness, it actually doesn't take away from your honor res. I don't know. That was a bug before. I don't know if it's still a bug or they're just like, it's an unintended game mechanic, and now it's just a side bonus if you're actually, for one of the two people on the planet, they're playing Acolyte of Chula. But that was a nice part of it. My opinion on the Chula thing is this. Darkness is actually super cool, but you're capped up to a certain point because it gives you darkness based upon your chaos res, and you can only get to so much of a percentage, and then it caps. I think the best way to do this is remove the cap, so you can overcap your chaos res. You can go like 400% chaos res if you really wanted to go all the way, or whatever, right? Whatever you could actually get to. And then you could continue to stack darkness, or like you could stack energy shield. Chaos res itself is like, it's a suffix. There's not too many like things on the tree in order to get it. So in order to actually get a shitload of chaos res, it's high investment, and then there's going to be a limited number you can actually get anyway. So it's not going to be like energy shield where you can just click a bunch of nodes for free with passive skill, and you're going to end up with like 20,000, 40,000 ES if you're like all the way invested. There is still going to be a pseudo cap on chaos res, but I think just removing the cap off of it does give Chululu like at least a niche portion in which they are kind of focused on being tanky, which I think would be kind of cool. And it is a high cost. Like, you can't have any spirit if you're doing darkness. So just a thought. I mean, that's one thing that goes to my mind. Also, Void Illusion. I've tried making that work. Maybe somebody out there has done it. It also doesn't work like when you dodge roll, you get like the little taunt there. It's kind of dog shit. And then you can get the cooldown down, but if you're using like Temporalis or something to try to get the cooldown even down, if you want to use like Blink, so you can like blink around and then leave it, it doesn't work with Blink. You have to actually be dodge rolling. So because of like the time it takes to actually dodge roll, there's like a certain hard limit on how many of these things you can actually spawn. So like the Void Illusion itself as a skill for Acolyte of Chula just feels kind of bad. So I agree with him there. Volatility, some people have made work, but it's just kind of clunky and weird. So volatility isn't that great anyway. In other words, there's not really, outside of darkness, there's not really too many reasons I would ever actually pick this class, which is why if you're going to do something to it, make darkness better by removing the cap, or maybe rework some of these other ascendancy nodes. So in other words, I agree with him here. Cholula is like not positioned well.
But I league started Chula in hopes to make a caster variant, and I got to see the flaws. I also saw Miso trying to play Chula Monk as well, and he didn't really like it either.
Yeah.
It is still very, very lackluster as compared to many ascendancies in the game.
Yeah, agreed.
Invoker. It has way too many conditional damage buffs over static damage buffs that other ascendancies can offer, and you can still get an even better outcome. So I definitely think GGG should take a look at that once again. One crazy idea I had was adding graphs to Chula, since it is lore-wise linked to Chula himself, and
That's kind of cool.
I thought graphs were very cool in the new season, so that could be a very cool addition, since GGG wants certain characters to have their own identity. I personally think that would be very great for the Chula.
Cool idea. Probably a lot of dev work for just one ascendancy point that, you know, class that's like already in the game. They're making other shit. Probably won't happen, but cool idea anyway.
To have their own personal graphs. Just a crazy idea. Not that it would be added at all, but who knows. Another ascendancy I would like to see get a little touching is the Smith of Katava. This is honestly my own personal bias, just because I would love to make use of the fire spell on hit, but in my opinion, I mean, I don't know if they want it to be just for utility, but when you look at Mjolnir and you see that it gives a good multiplicative damage buff and no mana use on cast, it's really good. Why isn't fire spell on melee hit exactly like that? I think that would be a pretty good addition, and they should definitely look at that. And
yeah, Smith is kind of like a feels bad one to me, honestly, because it was pretty strong before, and it got the triple tap where like the ascendancy got removed. I think the thing with Smith is with armor doing LE damage and being really good against like small amounts of LE damage, like, you know, monsters have extra damage as, etc. I think they were really scared that Smith of Katava was going to be borderline unkillable. They probably would have been right, honestly. Still usable, but it did get triple tap from like the passive tree changing with max res, the ascendancy itself somewhat getting nerfed. So yeah, Smith feels kind of I don't know if I want to say it's like bad, because I don't think it's bad. It's just the cool thing that made it unique was like making the chest plate and having the fire res, and when you do reduce that, you kind of reduce like the entire point of the ascendancy. So I like his idea of like making the fire spells like better portion, or maybe like the manifest weapon or something. No one really does that. The anvil is basically a giant meme. The whole best thing about the anvil actually ever being in the game was we got those really funny Quinn clips and Matho laughing at the Quinn clips of like him sitting there like anviling right in the middle of a boss attack. So that's about it. That's about the best thing we got out of that portion of the ascendancy. So I agree.
Also, the manifest weapon, I know that just got a little small buff, but it's still not enough to make me want to use it. As a person who doesn't already like minions as is, that's another thing that I would also like to see in 0.4. Just more minion buffs. I would love to play Spectres. As someone who has never been into Spectres, I actually was thinking of playing the animate weapon of reflection build in PoE 1 because it just looks sick. Buff the Spectres, make everything cool and good. I would love to play these things. Would love to have just a bunch of floating weapons around me fighting my enemies. Like, just I don't know how you guys.
As a certified minion hater,
like,
can't agree, but I mean,
Spectre
yeah, right.
scaling, minion scaling would be great. I would love to see more variety of in-game minion builds. So the next topic on the list already got confirmed, and it was kind of unfortunate to see that, but I still have high hopes. I actually did not want to see the Druid added in 0.4. Because it takes away from more content that's actually beneficial to the game. You know, a new ascendancy, a new class adds just a good bit of, you know, more variety to customization, build variety, yada yada. But I'd say things
All right, let me hear the rest of his point before I have a count.
like more new ascendancies, which is another topic. More new ascendancies added to the game to existing classes would
like
add way more variety. And I think that we're going to get a new weapon. I would love to see a new weapon. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I think it's a little bit of a wild take, yeah. Okay, so a new ascendancy would not add more variety because with a new class comes a new weapon. With a new weapon comes new skills, and those skills are usable in any class. So just adding like a skill gem into the game that's tied to a new weapon adds build variety on all classes, as opposed to ascendancy that only adds a different ascendancy variant of all builds. So I would think that like Druid coming to the game actually will help out a lot. The other portion is, the first point was he wants a lot of like balance changes and like new build variety. That is what that is. Having a new class is more build variety because we get a weapon with it. So for me, it seems like an obvious win. I think the point of the game is like to make builds and shit. Now, if the argument was we should be focusing more on making the mapping better and we don't want to have time to go into Druid, I could like hear the take. But if the argument is like Druid doesn't have that much build variety, other ascendancies of classes that are already the game that are already in seem like I'm just not there on that one.
Sure, we're getting one. 2 new weapons is a stretch, but that would be the icing on the cake.
I would love more weapons. Sure.
2 new weapons for this season. That would add a very good chunk of build variety to the game, I believe. Now, this is just my speculation, but with the Druid coming, I could heavily believe we're getting something like the Claw, or maybe the Flail, but that's a stretch, because that would probably come with Templar.
Yeah, it's talismans. We already know it's talismans.
Definitely think we're going to probably get the Claw.
So, yeah, you can see... I was wondering this myself. Gazi showed it to me, though. You can literally see it in game. If you go to martial weapons, you can see it's called talisman. When you go to, like... hover over whetstone or something, it says improve martial weapons. Hover over martial weapons, it says martial weapons, or like it has a list of all the martial weapons. You hover over talisman, it says shape shifting. So like it's already in the game, it's already data mined. Yeah, talisman is going to be coming, and talisman is a 2-handed melee strength int based weapon that adds shape shifting in the game. So like we are getting a weapon,
and that would be great. They're probably going to change it to strength int, but we would have to see. It's all just a speculation. But back to the new ascendancies thing. Yes, getting 3 new ascendancies would be very huge.
Agree about the ascendancies.
I speculate we're gonna get the new monk ascendancy and maybe even the new ranger ascendancy. So we
need Sork, Huntress, Monk, and I'm missing one. Sork, Huntress, Monk, and there's one other one I'm forgetting off the top of my head that still need or Ranger, right? That still need ascendancies. So if we got all of the third ascendancies, that'd be 4 new ascendancies. I think that's cope. Maybe we'd be lucky if we get 2, I think. So I think maybe there's a chance we get Druid probably with 2 ascendancies with 1 yet to come, and then 2 ascendancies, maybe like a Sork and a Huntress or something like that.
To see, but that would be super great.
Sork definitely needs an ascendancy.
That I would
100%.
like to see happen, and I probably should have said this in the beginning of the video, is please, no pre-league nerfs. I know that they like to watch a lot of the streamers.
Really does not want nerfs.
I'm sure they do, and nerf things when people start talking about this being broken and hot. Let it be broken, let it be good, and if you want to nerf it mid-league, whatever, just let people have fun for the start of the season.
You can have fun in this season without having one build that's 99% better than others. So I understand the argument about like let it be good, like don't just destroy the players. Like I get that, but that's kind of not what's happening. It's like if one build is way better than all the others, it is destroying the players. Like that is actually removing some fun from you because there is one build that is like massively better than others. Like that happens a lot in not just ARPGs, but in MOBAs, etc. It's like we can make the same argument in League of Legends. It's a new season. Let the previous characters be fun. It's like, if you have one that's kind of OP, it kind of like, kills the vibe for other characters, and you feel dumb for like not playing the OP one. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with this. I think that we've seen previously players state like they're okay with mid-league changes, but GGG has stated they won't do mid-league changes because they basically don't want to kill the fun for the players once the league starts. But in between leagues, they're going to do balance changes. If we don't do any like balance changes between leagues, then when the game comes out, it's going to be an unbalanced clusterfuck in which you have a million broken builds and the game is like cheesy easy. Imagine like if we didn't nerf any of the shit that has already been in the game. That was kind of OP. I don't know if everyone still would want Lightning Spear in this position. I don't know if everyone would want, to be playing from 0.1 to 0.4 a Gymling stat stacker. I think you do kind of have to adjust these things as you go. I'm okay with the concept of like keeping builds good. You don't have to like triple tap them into the ground entirely, which is something GGG has done with builds. Like I understand that. I would agree with that point. But at some level, like you probably do have to look into and be okay with understanding that not all builds can last at their power level forever in the game, because then, in other words, you're just asking for like infinite power creep. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for the game.
Let it happen, please. This next one's probably a no-brainer, but we will probably not see a new act in the coming season, and that's fine with me. The interludes are just fine. We get a good chunk of story, and we can probably get a new act in season 5, so definitely can wait on that.
He isn't saying previous, he's saying after announcements before launch, I believe. Yeah, in between leagues. Like they don't do leagues in the middle. They don't do nerfs in the middle of leagues. Once the league is already out and you have your hands on it, it's staying. Like they don't nerf shit once the league is launched. But up until the league being launched, in between leagues, like yeah, they're absolutely going to make balance changes. That's like what the patch notes are, and they'll adjust it from there.
So something cool that I do want to see in this game in the future, I wouldn't say next season, but definitely in the future of the game, preferably next season, is Foulborn uniques. I think that was a crazy addition to PoE 1, would probably be such a very good addition to PoE 2, because a lot of uniques in this game are pretty much useless and they kind of fall off, and just with this game not having a lot of uniques to begin with, the level of customization is very minimal, and you start using the same uniques as other people use, and they're different skill builds. So Foulborn uniques would be such a good addition. Like imagine a painter servant Foulborn version, like in-game viable. I definitely think GGG should look into that one. Another thing that I would like to see with the new in-game reworks is
I do want new uniques. I just don't care about them being Foulborn. I just want new uniques in the game, and new chase uniques, and new good uniques, and uniques that drop from bosses that I care about. I don't care if they're purple. I just want new uniques to chase and uniques that are good. That's it.
A complete atlas.
Don't care
rework.
what you call them.
After going back to PoE 1 and seeing the atlas, seeing how a lot of the new PoE 2 players feel about the old PoE 1 atlas, I think we do need an atlas rework. That would help in a lot of the juicing for the in-game mechanics, because I don't think you guys are gonna add a new mechanic for the next season that juices your maps up, since we just got Abyss. So
I mean, I don't think they would add an in-map mechanic. I think if they don't add in-map mechanics that have juicing and ability to farm for good loot, then what are we doing? Like, isn't that the point of... Is that not the point of, like, mapping? I would think that they're absolutely going to be adding more and more mechanics to the game that are farmable. If they don't, like, then we only have, like, Breach, Expedition, Delirium, and Abyss. I mean, I guess Ritual. I probably do need in-map mechanics, I would think. There's just not that many of them in PoE 2. As in terms of like an Atlas rework, I think an Atlas tree rework I could agree with. I think they're still exploring the Infinite Atlas idea. I don't think they're ready to pack it up on the Infinite Atlas. I think there are some benefits from an Infinite Atlas. I don't think it's in the perfect scenario. I understand. I agree. And I think they're working on making it better. I think 0.3 made it better with some of the additions of like unique maps you can find and making it a little bit more interesting, and towers not being basically in there as much. And I definitely think we need a search function and some quality of life to make it easier to navigate and to zoom out and things like that. I would agree with all of those points. I don't know if they're going to pack it up immediately and just move it to like PoE 1, put in a map and go. I think they're still trying to like salvage the Infinite Atlas. I could be wrong, but that would be my guess.
Reworking the Atlas seems to be like the smartest play here. I'm just giving more juice via the Atlas. Next, and I'm pretty sure we will be getting this.
I think he means Atlas Tree. I think he means Atlas Tree because he's talking about more juice from the Atlas Tree. Like, and if he's talking about the Atlas Tree, I mean, yeah, I do agree the Atlas tree is like very placeholder. I would assume they would all agree that the Atlas tree is very placeholder. It does feel lackluster. You don't really feel the impact when you click the nodes, and you specialize in everything instead of like one thing at a time, so you don't really feel like you are specialized and juicy in something. I would agree with these points.
In-game bosses, that would be super great. Some new in-game pinnacles to fight. I'm done fighting the main 4, and I'm ready for some new.
Agree with that too. We'll get new bosses.
I would like to see a higher pinnacle version of him, more difficult, if he does stay in the game, which I'm pretty sure.
The man himself. He says definitely should have said tree. Okay, you're talking about Atlas tree. I would agree with the Atlas tree. I do think the Atlas tree is basically placeholder. I think that the Atlas tree. I've said it before. I think the Atlas tree is one of the weakest parts of in-game. I would agree.
Well, I'm pretty sure all the Abyss stuff will be kept and just dumbed down a bit, so it'll be different ways for us to access it via just the Atlas. But definitely want to see some new bosses to fight. But for the last thing on this list, I would love to see, and obviously we're going to be getting this right, a new mechanic.
Yeah, new mechanic.
Not just any mechanic though, something beneficial to the game. Obviously we're not going to be getting a crafting mechanic, and a lot of people are speculating Dell will be coming to the game.
They could do a crafting mechanic, actually.
Who knows, maybe they can make something new, maybe they could rework something old. Definitely just want to see something good for the game itself. Yeah, good for the game's a pretty wide net they're throwing. It can mean almost anything. I don't think that having another crafting mechanic would be a problem, especially if they add more affixes, etc., dilute the pool. I mean, Abyss added more affixes to weapons, and it made crafting a lot easier. But I think some of that was like the non-Abyss related stuff from the lead mechanic. That was sort of a crafting rework in and of itself. It wasn't just the Abyss crafting. So like a lot of the times when I hear about like we need to nerf the Abyss, then people also talk about like non-Abyss related crafting like essences and omens. And so the Abyss itself crafting was pretty good and will not be in every map anymore. So in terms of like quantity of how much you're going to be able to access the Abyss, it's now a league in which you can choose to farm that if you want, and then use those crafting materials, and adding another one in tandem, which is okay. Like here's, I don't know, harvest or whatever. I think harvest would probably be bad, but like if you added some other mechanic that you can farm and do your own kind of crafting, I mean, that is PoE. So I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with adding more crafting into the game, as long as it's not, completely ridiculously OP. I think there is an argument to be made that Omen of homogenizing and the essences might have some adjustments, and maybe Omen of Light. Outside of that, I don't really have a problem with the current state of the crafting. I mean, it's pretty deterministic, as people say, which is fairly true, but it definitely is better than it was before, which is basically you slam exalts and you pray to God. So some of that is probably you need more affixes on either gear or more types of items that you actually want to be able to craft. Some of it is maybe some of these things are actually just a little bit too OP, like homogenizing. I'm always fucking that one up. Some of it is like some things are underwhelming, like Recombinator, for instance, just feels like pretty underwhelming, and that whole mechanic doesn't really feel like it does anything. So I think it's a little bit of everything. It's not perfect yet, but I think it's definitely getting better is kind of where I'm at with crafting. That'll be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this quick little discussion, please leave a like and subscribe. Heavily appreciate it. And there will be a bunch more build videos to come in the future.
He's got a pretty cool build.
Cooking once we see some patch notes, and I'll be dropping maybe at least 1 or 2 league starts. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next one.
All right, he wanted me to watch it. There you go. That's what he wants to see in PoE 2. I agree with about half of it. I think that having extra variety in PoE 2 in terms of builds is good. I don't think there's any problem with dropping the Druid. I think that there is a chance we do get additional crafting. I do agree with his point about the Atlas tree being lackluster. I think it's a placeholder. I think they only had like 6 months or something when they ended up developing the in-game on release back in the early access drop, and since then they've been trying to add on to it. I think that's quite literally the focus, and what they said was 0.4 was supposed to be, so we'll see how much they're able to get in of that change. So I agree with some of it. Some points I don't think are things I agree with. I think we do need balance changes in both areas. I would like to see things brought up, but if you bring some things up, I think you also should bring some things down that are a little bit too strong. So I don't know if I agree that we should just have no nerfs. I think we should probably see some adjustments across the board, basically. That's how I feel about that one. Anyway, good video.